Hi everyone and welcome to One Six Figure Focus, and you are very welcome to episode number 21 of Visions, where every single episode I sit down with a different collector and discuss the past, the present, and the future of their collecting journey. We've got a big one here for you folks. He got the guns, he's got the statues, he's got over 5,500 subscribers on YouTube. He is a pillar, no pun intended, of the collecting community. Sorry, the pillar was a statue reference. It didn't really go according to plan, but he is a staple in the collecting community and the content creating community. And I'm really happy he's made time to join me on an episode of Vision. So we'll bring him in.
Oh, hello there. Hello there. What an introduction, bro. That's probably like the nicest introduction I've ever received. Yeah. So, you know, not exactly all true, but, you know, I'll take it. And the statue joke, pretty good. I'll give you full credit for that one.
You can call it like I see it. Sorry, I cut you off there. I'm thinking about getting a new chair, and I was thinking about the Evo 2020, I think it's called, the Secret Lab. How do you find the chair? Is it comfortable?
Dude, I really like it, man. This one actually is the 2022 version. I got the Attack on Titan version because I love the anime, and since it is sold out, it's sold out on pre-order, unlike Hot Toys do. So, you know, it's yeah, dude, it's definitely pricey though. I got the XL version because I'm 6'4". Right. I only weigh like under 200 pounds, but so it's like a little big, but it's the other option was the large, which is like 6'2", up to 6'2" in height. And I was like, my legs are going to be all off the ground. So, you know, but it's really nice. It was like $680 though. It's no joke. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's you know, but it's really comfortable. Mm-hmm. You can do a lot of shit with it, a lot of customization, but dude, I would recommend it. It's really nice. So,
and do you game as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I don't use this for gaming though because, dude, it's so big I could barely get it through the doorway, the chair. Like it took forever, like with my girlfriend and I trying to like wedge it into the door. So like my gaming room's over there, so I use a different chair for that. But I wish I had two, so I could use another one, but it's just too expensive.
I'm just still stuck on you have a collection room and a gaming room. You're a baller, man.
Yeah, dude. I wish I had. I wish I could put it all in one, but like this these statues and stuff take up a lot of room, dude. They really do, man. Yeah. So, and I'm still getting everything up. Like the stuff behind me on the wall is empty, so that's going to be covered with like art prints and props and things like that eventually. It's just a matter of getting them up there. So it's taking time.
And then, you know, like the likes of me and everyone else be crying out for a collection room tour, and that'd be.
I know. Yeah. I got to.
Have you done one in a while? I know you moved recently.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been like probably over a year since I've done one. Yeah, and I did move like a month and a half ago, something like that. So yeah, it's still getting everything sorted. That's the thing, man, with collecting. Like when you move, it's not fun. This is the first time I've had to do it since I've had a collection, and you know, with the statues, I didn't box them up. I took like some of their accessories off and just I took them basically a couple at a time in my car and then just went back and forth. So it's, you know, my girlfriend helped me, thank God. She had to hold the Pennywise in the back seat, the half scale. So that was probably the worst thing she probably regretted the moving in decision at that point, but it was fun.
Yeah, moving is no joke at the best of times. Moving with a collection, just, you need to kind of start boxing things up like a few weeks before you go, don't you? It is absolutely no joke. But look, thanks very much for being here. I really do appreciate it. You are the final one in the Magnificent Seven, as I call them. I was trying to track them down, just in case anyone doesn't know in the chat. I think it was Super Bowl Sunday. Will was doing a early stream. I usually catch all the Americans on the rewind, but I was in here doing some reposing and stuff like that, and doing some photography. And I was listening to your stream live, which is a treat because I never really get to listen to these things live. And it was like Will, Mafia, Lael, Brother Cousins, Mario, and then the Wonder Twins, and I got the shout out from Lael and some of the people in the panel, and like it kind of, you know, just kickstarted my channel a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Like, and it's just nice. And again, like I've obviously been on your stream, stuff like that, and just a massive thank you because I do appreciate everyone on that panel, and I tracked you all down, but it's just really good to have you here for a conversation. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thank you for having me, dude. And trust me, no thanks needed at all. Like you do a great job. So all we were doing is just bringing a spotlight to that. So that's it's you owe the thanks to yourself, I guess, is what I'm saying, more so than us.
I know. I think you definitely like it's definitely the support in the collecting community is just it is.
Yeah, it's very, a great community. It really there's of course toxicity and drama, but that's any place you go, I feel like. But with this, people really do tend to be like very inclusive and very supportive and encouraging of each other, like because there's so many more streams popping up and we all like pop in and talk to everyone, and it's like we all like are friends, like it's just great. So dude, I've made, I don't know, you have too. I've made some of my best friends, period, in this community. So I mean, and I've never even met them in real life. So you know, it's true. Like I've become so close with a lot of them that, you know, it's pretty crazy. I never thought we would be here, but here we are.
And just the way it's funny, actually, when you mentioned you were 6'4", I was like, really, you're 6'4", but you can never tell because everyone's sitting down. So I'd say if I've met you in real life, I'd be like, what?
Yeah,
But
6'4".
A con or something, definitely. So I'm just going to address the chat before we get started on this. We have Figurassic Park, who was here before he went live, saying, I've got work to, just want to say hi, and I'll catch you in the replay. Very, very consistent member of the community. T. Ria is here. JC is here. We have The Empire Strikes Again. Thanks for being here. How many Pennywise figures are going to get sold off the back of this stream? That is funny.
1 to 5, you know.
Yeah, 1 to 5. Commander Green. We have Gilbert in the house as well. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Renz is here as well. The talented artist. If you haven't checked him on Instagram, please do so. We have Will as well, warming up the crowd. Oliver Pilgrim, the generous Oliver Pilgrim is here. I see Ben, the Attention Seeking Geek, has his miles, and he put up a really funny video about it. That was really generous of you. Commander Green and Julie from Texas is here. Morning to you. William Owens in the house as well. We got Thalia. I think is it Mayer or Meyer? Maybe let me know how you pronounce that in the chat. I like to get these things right. Had the same issue with T. Ria as well, and they spelled it out for me. So Thalia is in the house. You've got a fan there in William Owens anyway, and I would concur. You've got Mark P. Noni is here as well. Good morning. Have to ask Will which one figure he'd save in a fire. I finish all the shows with that question, he'll have 3 to choose from, so you can think about that between now and the end. Pablo Meza is here, and 1-6 Shooter. Thanks very much for everyone for being here in the chat, and we're going to kick it off. So we're going to start off obviously with the past. So like you can take this in any direction you want. Will just a few kind of maybe questions that like I'm definitely curious to know the answers to, and a few questions I'd imagine the people in the chat would be curious as well. So like, what was your first 1/6 scale hot toy? Who did you buy it from? What was the price like? As in, do you still have it? How did you react to it? Did you think, oh, this is a one and done? Or were you like, no, I'm in trouble here? Did you collect something beforehand? Were you like, maybe, did you collect carded figures or 3 3/4 inch figures like a lot of people did? Or did the statues come first and then the 6 scale? Take in any direction you want. But yeah, definitely want to know what your first ever hot toy was, and who did you buy it? How did you feel about the price, the detail? Go for it.
Dude, you know what's crazy, Shane? It was several years ago now. I can't remember which year it was. It was probably like 2017 or 18, something around there. My first figure, to no people's surprise, was actually Kylo Ren. It was the Force Awakens Kylo Ren, and I bought it on a Facebook group because I saw that someone was having a sale. I don't remember how it popped up because I don't think I was even in the 1/6 community like Facebook groups at that time. I was really big into cosplay. I was collecting 1-to-1 props, cosplay, things like that. And I was also collecting, you mentioned a really interesting point. I was in the gateway drug. I was doing Marvel Legends and Black series because I was picking up those. I was trying to get the better ones, the ones like older Darth Maul, ones that were more sought after. And I love Kylo Ren so much. He's one of my favorite characters. I have a lot of Kylo Ren shit. So like I have a lot of his stuff. I have a whole costume of him. You know, it's a really important character to me, a character that I love. And one popped up on the Facebook group for like $120, like shipped. And I was like, I don't know if that's good for a hot toy. So I started researching the retail price. And I was like, this does seem pretty good. I was like, let's take the plunge and see whether I like this, right? So I got it, loved it. Actually broke it accidentally. So because I had him in display, what I didn't realize at the time was I wasn't using the stand. Because I was used to Black Series and Marvel Legends where you could pretty much do that. If they fell, no big deal. This one was on a glass shelf in a display, fell off, hit the floor, helmet was fine, but the neck peg like broke. So I had my friend who's like a wizard fix it and repair it for me. Now good as new. You would never know. So I did that, and after that, yeah, like you said, I was in trouble. I got that one, and I thought that was going to be like kind of a one-off. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have this Kylo Ren. He's my favorite. Just get that one. And then I saw Infinity War. My first like real purchase at retail was Infinity War Thor. That was my first real figure. that I bought because that film is just incredible. And even before I got that figure in hand, I was like, oh, well, I need Darth Maul and I need Doctor Strange and I need Loki Ragnarok and I need and I started basically going down the rabbit hole. And that's how I started. But I did get Avengers Loki somewhere in like the early to middle period. That was like, because he was sold out at the time and he was like $450, $500. And I was like, I don't want to pay that for one figure. So I eventually got him for a good price. I found someone selling him loose and then I got the parts I needed. But yeah, it started with Kylo Ren and then kind of went from there. But I was like probably most people, I started with Black Series and Marvel Legends as sort of a gateway drug. And then now, I went into, Hot Toys, and now that was the gateway to statues and such. So now I do both, but it never ends really. So, once you're accustomed to paying the price for something, then you're just like, oh, this is normal. Like when I paid $2,000 for my half scale Pennywise, I was like, at the whole time I was like, that's too much. I can't pay that much. Then when I paid it, I was like, okay, like I'm here now. And then I bought the Legolas half scale. I have it on pre-order for like 2,700 shipped. So I mean, it's a dangerous game, but you do get accustomed once you kind of dip your toe in the pool, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in the statue game, man, because it's the space and the cash, but it's well, do you know what? I think a lot of us we go, oh, that's very expensive, but if we love something, we shell out. We absolutely do. I know, I'd be shrewd enough when it comes to trying to hunt down deals and stuff, but at the same time, if I love something, like that in-art Joker just got me bad, you know what I mean?
You still have production photos, right? Yeah, I think you did a video. Totally,
yeah. Have you I know you're a big Dark Knight fan. Have you gone down the in-art thing, or are you waiting, or have you ordered it, or do you have any interest, or?
Yeah. They got me, bro. Yeah, I got the Joker rooted 2-pack on pre-order, which I paid in full. I got it from 1/6 kit, so I really had good experiences with him. And of course, to no one's surprise, I did get the Pennywise also. So I got the Pennywise Deluxe, paid that off. What's crazy, Shane? I'm thinking about getting. I probably won't, but I'm thinking about getting a second in-art Pennywise because it has 2 head sculpts. Problem was I bought the deluxe version and it comes with 2 head sculpts. So now I don't know what to do. I feel like I should have bought one standard for one and one standard for the other. So I could have got the 2 head sculpts and 2 bodies and all that. But I did not, alas. So maybe I'll stick with what I have. But those are the 2 NR figures I have on pre-order. I don't think I'll be interested in the Batman personally. Gandalf, probably not. But Pennywise and Joker for sure.
And you're a big Lord of the Rings fan. I see you have a Sauron statue behind you. Yeah? And why aren't you interested in the Gandalf, if you don't mind me asking?
I think the price, honestly. I think, when I'm looking at what it's going to cost me, with Pennywise, that's I love Gandalf. He's great, but it's not essential to my collection, Joker in art is. The Dark Knight Joker is extremely iconic. That and Avengers 1, I feel like were the 2 films that made me into this fandom the way that I am. So those were extremely formative nerd geek films for me. Those in my high school, early college years, that's when I started seeing. I saw Dark Knight 4 or 5 times at theaters. Same with Avengers 1. Those films were extremely important, which is why part of the reason Loki's so important to me, and same with Joker. But
speaking of Loki, actually.
Oh yeah.
Lael kind of says that in his own way that I'm nearly immune to being enabled. I don't get into the hype and the FOMO. I just don't really. I know it's natural if a new movie comes out and you're blown away and it's oh, that's really, really cool. But usually if I like something I tend to like it going forward. But if I see a figure that I want, I nearly know fairly quickly if I want something or not. And it's rare I'm ever influenced or swayed by content creators. I just know what I like. There's 2 occasions where I was kind of on the fence, and I definitely did take things on board. One was actually the heavy Mando. It was I like that. I like the way it's Jon Favreau. I liked everything about it. And then I watched Jetta's video and the posing he did, and I have to say, he did tip the scales, and it was the lighting, the posing, and everything. I was yeah, I'm gonna pick that up. It just looks amazing. And the second time is a figure that isn't even out yet, and I know that you are eagerly anticipating it. I haven't pulled the trigger, but I do think it is the Loki to get, and I think a lot of it, from watching on streams and speaking, how passionate you are about the character. I definitely did go, I need to take this Loki a second. I need to have another look at it. You know what I mean? And I think you definitely have enabled me a bit there. Haven't pulled the trigger yet, but it's coming home because multiple reasons. It's a villain. It's like you said, Avengers 2012. I think it would double as obviously Endgame or Avengers 2012. And but where is it? I thought you'd have an inside line, man.
Dude,
Loki's your guy.
I wish, bro. I wish I had Howard's cell phone number or JC's where I could call him and be like, "What is going on? Where's Loki?" Yeah. But alas, not. I've heard. Crazy. I mean, there's been rumors. I guess I don't know if there was any truth to them about like something sinking in the ocean, like a whole sea of Lokis that just disappeared. I don't know. I don't think they would delay it by that long for that. But because they could probably reproduce it pretty quickly if they wanted to. But I would think, I think it's got to be something with the head sculpt or something that's not working. Maybe it's the helmet. There's something that's off that they needed to like completely overhaul. So maybe it happened during QC when they were just like, like we thought we were ready to ship this, but it's not ready. So and that's my only guess to delay it for 8 to 9 months like that. That's a long time. It was supposed to come out like it was supposed to come out a while ago, like last year, but then it was like ready to ship supposedly in like March or April or something, and then now it's like November to December or something. So I don't even think we're going to see it this year. I mean, which sucks, but maybe they'll surprise us and throw it out next month. But I don't know. I'm definitely eagerly anticipating it for sure. I mean, I think you're onto something. It is the Loki to have. If you're only going to have one Loki, this is the one. It's the most iconic look for Loki for sure.
Yeah, because it's I remember actually, it's a bit of a strange story. My one of my teachers in primary school when I was very young, we were asking her how did she decide to be a teacher, and she's like, well, I did good in my exams, and I was either going to be a teacher or a dentist, and I didn't know which one I wanted to do. So I wrote a list of pros and cons. She eventually decided on a teacher, and then she started like kind of convincing herself that she wouldn't have liked dentistry by going like, oh god, I'd be looking in people's mouths and stuff like that, and I wouldn't like that. So she convinced herself, even though she was like 50-50, but she kind of make herself comfortable with her decision, she bigged up the teaching, and she was like, oh no, I wouldn't have liked the dentistry. My point is that like if I buy a figure because I like it and there's another better one, I won't do that. I won't be like, oh, this one's better because, for example, the Endgame Loki, I do agree with you. I think that's the one to have. However, I look at the TVA Loki and the head sculpt is better from the prototype images.
Head sculpt is good.
You know what I mean? So I'm not going to big up one, even though there's another better one out there. I do think the Endgame Loki one is probably the one to have, although I have to say that TVA Loki is much better. The head sculpt. But maybe they're fixing it. I would love if the Endgame Loki comes out as good as the TVA Loki.
Yeah, and I think they're also supposed to make the TVA one's like a little bit older looking, which is how it should be. I mean, I guess it's still Tom Hiddleston playing 2012 Loki in 2019, but he should look like 2012 Loki. He should look younger. So I actually really like that head sculpt, but I think they are retooling it because I think they got a lot of positive feedback from the TVA one. So they were like, hey, why don't we like take that sculpt, make it look a little bit younger, put it on the Avengers one and call it a day. He is going to have a helmet on for most people probably though. So like it's not going to be a huge deal because as long as under the helmet, he looks pretty close, then you're good. That's kind of what I have felt about like these statues, for example, with Prime 1 and sometimes Blitzway. Like if they do a head sculpt and it's a human character, then it's not always great. But if it's a video game character, as long as it's pretty close, you're happy. So, so like with Loki with the helmet on, you're kind of like, as long as it looks like him and it's pretty close. Because like the original Avengers Loki, I love that figure. But the head sculpt, it looks dated. It looks very dated. And it still looks like him, but I still love that figure because with the helmet on, it still looked great. The tailoring wasn't as great, but it still is amazing. But you're right. This figure is the Loki to have. The TVA one is great. I feel like I might end up getting that one maybe on discount at some point. And same with Sylvie. But I do want them. But it's a grail of a figure. So I mean, not a grail in the monetary sense. I don't think it's going to reach like double retail, at least not for like, if people get nostalgic for the Endgame line like 10 years from now or something, or 5 years from now, then maybe. But other than that,
I get it. I think it can, like, I'm definitely not a completionist, and I know you aren't either. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I'm not, and I'm like you. I don't really get enabled that much. I used to when I was younger in my collecting days, like even in the first year or two. That's why I remember you've probably heard. I always told that story where I had 15K in pre-orders. I think that's when I was being enabled.
That genuinely gives me an anxiety.
Yeah, that's exactly. It scared me too. Which is now I took that, I withered away at it. I cut things, I canceled things, lost a bunch of NRDs for sure. But then I like went through and paid things off and whatever. And now I have one pre-order left that I have not paid for, and it's the the Queen Studios quarter scale Joker, the Rooted Hair, artist edition. So that's it. And so yeah, that I like to give people that story because like that's what can happen if you get enabled so frequently and like you don't track your purchases. You can realize that you have a lot more tied up than you thought you did. And that can be kind of scary for all of us on, middle or lower class salaries. Like it's, it's 15K is a lot.
It's a real problem. Like,
yeah,
it's a real, yeah. And and did you say you had the quarter scale Queen Studio on order?
Yeah, the artist edition with the Rooted Hair. Yeah.
Right, but that hasn't come out yet, is it? Would that be correct?
Yeah, it's come out to some, but I got it from a shop called Primo Collectibles in Malaysia because at the time everyone was sold out except for them. And I ordered a Queen Studio statue from them before and all was well. So hopefully everything's good, but they haven't got theirs yet. So
all right,
I'm on the lookout, but I can't wait to get that one.
Good stuff. So your first ever was a loose Kylo Ren from The Force Awakens. Would that be correct?
So what's interesting, yeah, it was Force Awakens. He did come complete. Loki I bought loose, but Kylo was complete. Like he came with the box and everything for $120. So that shows how low Star Wars was at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then your first one that you paid retail for, that was was it Infinity War?
Infinity War Thor, yeah.
And who did you go to?
Sideshow for that one. And there was a sales tax at the time. So it was before they had to charge sales tax, but now they do. Yeah. And those are the good old days.
It's I remember like I've ordered from Sideshow before and their customer service is fantastic, and I do like the I like the layout of the website. It's not perfect, but I do like the layout of it, because I use it for like my pre-order preview videos and stuff. And I think I've only like 2 pre-orders with them, but it's just that bloody income or import tax which kills us over here.
Yeah, so it sucks for you guys. Yeah.
Tim Cent and Toys Buying Agent, Line Rock Toys, those kind of people, it's they work out better for us, put it that way. Like, I've
had good experiences with Toys Buying Agent, Tim Cent. I've had good experiences with him. So I mean, there was one time a package was in customs for like a while. It was a Bestman Light actually, but it ended up arriving and he packaged. I get 1/6 Kid and him. They package stuff like crazy. They like really bomb-proof. The boxes come pristine from them.
Yeah, bomb proof. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Right, so I think it's definitely that time where we. Sorry, I cut everyone off mid-sentence.
No, I like that. That's pretty cool.
It's like you're about to talk and then boom.
It's like past.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you have a few things on pre-order. You were saying, would that be correct? What is
I can pull up my list.
I won't get you to air all your dirty laundry, but if you could just maybe tell us, like, what is the number one? If you had to pick one pre-order that would literally arrive straight away during the stream, what would you pick?
Dude, that's a tough one, man. I'm looking at like what I've paid off and what I still. The Queen Studios Artist Edition is definitely a good one. I think what I'm going to go with, honestly, is the Queen Studios quarter scale Loki statue. I think that's what I would go with. That one is just, you know how I am Shane with Loki. So that one, the second that went up, I got it from Spec Fiction, and Anthony 6Scale Mafia. This is a funny story. Like, he has a promo code that wasn't working, and he was like, well, give me a little bit to get it working and then order. And I was like, well, I kind of want to order now. And he's like, well, can't you wait? And I was like, not really. So, and then like I wanted to order it that second basically because I wanted it done. And he was like, well, let me get it. So he sent me the code in like an hour. And I was like, I already ordered it like 50 minutes ago. So I just used like a different code or something. But that would be the one for me. The Infinity Studios Legolas is also great, half scale. And then Loki Hot Toys for sure. But the Loki quarter scale statue from Queen, I definitely really, really want.
Good stuff. Yeah, we're going to go back to back. We'll get some of these done. So, this question I asked someone a few weeks back, and I think you were the man to ask about this particular topic. So, do you think, like, my own take on it is that, like, the superhero genre, I know they give us some fantastic collectibles, but I think for every like 5 movies superhero related that comes out now, because it's so popular right now, there might be like 3 or 4 duds in there. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm being very, very harsh here, but my question is, has the superhero movie genre reached saturation point? Are we getting too much? Is quality suffering? Like, what's your take on that?
I do feel it probably has. I do think the movie studios and just Hollywood in general are picking up on the notion that superhero films and that type of content, fantasy, superhero, sci-fi, whatever, like it is really making a lot of money. It is a very hot genre. Everyone's trying to dip their toes in it. So it really is the thing. I do think it's reaching oversaturation a bit. I would say that Marvel, I still love Marvel, but I do feel like I'm a little overwhelmed with them right now just because there's so much. Like I have not even watched Miss Marvel yet, which is pretty crazy because I always watched every Marvel show, every movie, whatever. But now we got shows, movies. What If I never even finished because I didn't even really like it that much. And Miss Marvel I've heard pretty good things about, so I'll probably give it a watch here at some point. But the fact that I'm missing a Marvel show like that, even the movies like Thor Love and Thunder, it took me like a month to go see it. I mean, that's pretty crazy, that I didn't make it more of a priority to go. Because normally I was always there opening night, like for everything. But with this one, I was just kind of like, I don't know, like it's starting to become a lot, I feel like. And Star Wars, they tend to spread things out a little bit more. I don't know if they're giving us as quality stuff, except Mando. But, I do feel like they tend to spread it out a little bit more. But even them, they might start reaching that point. If they have Andor and then they have, the Mando and then they have the next show and Boba Fett season 2 and whatever, like it starts to become, a lot to keep up with. And all the other stuff. Like that's why I love The Boys, Shane, because The Boys is that genre. But The Boys is so unique. Like it is superhero genre, but it is like a very interesting take on it. And that's what I like about it because it's different. It's like, it's giving us what we want. We love superhero shit, but we also love something different and unique. And The Boys is that. That's why The Boys is my favorite show on TV right now. It's just
totally
really well
see
done.
Why you'd say that. Yeah,
it's just really well done. I just, and I really wish that, like Soso's making Homelander, but I wish someone other than Star Ace, put it bluntly, got the Boys license because I do feel like there could have been some really good figures made from that. And there still could be. I don't think Hot Toys, maybe if the show gets even more popular, Hot Toys might try to pick it up. But, I would love for even InArt. I would love for InArt or someone to pick up, make a Homelander and a Butcher and, and all these other characters like A-Train. I mean, that would be cool, man. That's a deep line you could explore. But I do feel like to answer the question, we have reached oversaturation.
Because that's the way I feel. Because like different collectors have their influence rooted in different types of media. Like I had Brendan Riley on here before, and he obviously is a comic book fan first, and that's how his collecting came about. Whereas me, I'm a movie fan first. I'm a film fan first, and that's how the collecting came about. So I don't know. Maybe that makes it a little bit more critical because I'm not just looking at the superhero genre or. It's more like as works of art, as films, looking at them like, you still have ones that knock it out of the park, like the Joaquin Phoenix Joker or, the Batman or whatever. But then I don't know, since Endgame, I mean, No Way Home was great. I love No Way Home. I did like Far From Home, but there's been a lot of duds in there. I know that you're a big fan of Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi's incredible, I think. Yeah.
And that was lost on me as well. It's strange how people just have different like opinions and takes and things, what they like and what they don't. But what did you find Thor Love and Thunder? Would you, if you had to give it a rating out of 5 or something, what would you?
I thought it was okay. I don't know how you felt about it. I thought it was like solid. It definitely wasn't as good as I thought or hoped it would be. But it's funny, it took me a while, Shane, to come around to Ragnarok too. Like when I originally saw Ragnarok, I was like, I walked out of the theater kind of like, I don't know. Because I guess I just didn't expect it to be that comedic. After seeing the first two. And see, I'm a little bit of an apologist. I don't love Thor Dark World, but I do love the first Thor film. So the first Thor film, I'm a bit of an apologist for. I love it. I love Loki's role in it. I love the brother dynamic, the family thing going on. So that was really cool. And Thor Dark World, I still enjoyed overall. It probably is one of the worst Marvel films, transparently. I do think that. But, with Thor Love and Thunder, Thor Ragnarok went full comedic. People loved it. Everyone really ate it up. And I enjoyed it. The more I watched it, the more I liked it. But it's still not in my top 5 or anything like that. But Thor Love and Thunder, I just felt like was Thor Ragnarok, but not as good. Like it was like the same type of formula, but not quite as good. So for me, it was just a matter of I needed to, maybe know what my expectations were and check them at the door a bit. But overall, I enjoyed it. Gore was good. I like Gore the God Butcher. Christian Bale was really good. The story felt a little bit all over the place. But the Heimdall son CGI was rough. But overall, I would probably give it like a 7.5. I liked it more than Multiverse of Madness. I didn't like Multiverse of Madness was okay. Like I didn't hate it, but it was okay.
Either.
I didn't really like it that much. I like Wanda. Every time Wanda's in it, I loved it. But the rest of it, I was kind of like, eh.
I think maybe with the Marvel thing, like realistically, you know what? I was watching some stream before, could have been a year ago at this stage, and I'd watched Loki, I'd watched the Winter Soldier, like the Falcon, the Winter Soldier, and I watch all the Marvel shows, right? Like most collectors. But there was something that was like, why isn't this landing correctly? I didn't have the vocabulary to express why I didn't like him as much or rate him. And then you said on one of the streams that they don't have the same like rewatchability. Right. Whereas like I think that kind of hit the nail on the head for me. I will go back and watch Iron Man any day of the week and I'll enjoy it. Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home, and I'll enjoy them. Whereas I haven't gone back to any of the Disney Plus shows and rewatched them. And I think maybe that's the difference. Whereas like even like The Mandalorian, I go back and I rewatched The Mandalorian plenty of times, you know what I mean? But I haven't gone back and rewatched, the Book of Boba Fett. But it's, I think that's a big thing. Like for me, like if a movie is just like knocks it out of the park, I will go back and watch it over and over again. I mean, how many times have you watched the Dark Knight? Will, like, I mean, do you even know? You don't. Like,
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a grail of a film, let's say.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm with you on that. I mean, I do understand where you're coming from. The only show I did rewatch, I think, was Loki because I enjoyed that show overall. I don't love everything they did with it because Loki's character, sometimes they make him really weak for the sake of the plot, and then he's strong, and then it's like it's inconsistent. But other than that, I mean, his character also, like in Avengers 1, he was so like ruthless and driven. And then this is supposed to be like him right after that. And he's like more like he is in Ragnarok. So it's just kind of interesting how they did that. So the continuity is a little bit weird there, but I still loved the show overall. It's still great. Really liked it. That's the only show I've rewatched. But yeah, I mean, it's Shang-Chi I've rewatched a few times, but it's that's the one Marvel film since, besides No Way Home, since Endgame, I feel like, where it's like, this is like what we should be getting. And the shows, I liked WandaVision. WandaVision was really good. I hated the first 3 episodes though. I did not like them at all. I did not like them. And then Hawkeye, I remember I said, like, I liked it. It was a good show, but it's very disposable. It's very like you would never watch Hawkeye again, I feel like. It's like it's just kind of like there, and it's good. It was enjoyable, it was very Christmassy. But you wouldn't go back and rewatch it. It's not like Mando. Mando I've rewatched, I think, each season twice, I think. So yeah, it's I can't wait for the new Mando. Mando is like what brings us all together, bro.
Yeah. I think I'm cutting in and out a bit. Sorry.
Are you okay?
Is it okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, we got Oliver with a good question. It looks like.
Yeah, great question. So I'm not a gamer. I believe, is The Last of Us your favorite piece of media?
It is. It was on Jeopardy the other day.
Yeah. I saw that. All right, but are you? So yeah, you can take this one because it's lost on me.
Yeah. So it's funny. My tattoo is from Last of Us. It has 1 and 2 in there. I'm a very outspoken critic of Last of Us 2. I don't really love the game that much, but there are things I do love in it, specifically the 2 characters' relationship, Joel and Ellie. So yes, The Last of Us remake will definitely be coming home because Oliver, you know how much I love The Last of Us. So yes, I will definitely be getting the remake. If they make a Last of Us 3, continuing the story from the second game, maybe I'll give it a chance. But The Last of Us remake, absolutely. I know there's been a lot of criticism of it just because of, they think it's a cash grab, right? I don't know if I feel that way. I mean, it's the same performances, dialogue, whatever, just new graphics and gameplay. But anything with Last of Us 1, that's just my favorite thing ever, basically. So I'm definitely getting it. I'm gonna get it first day and probably stream it, to be honest. But I can't wait to play it again. I played that game like 20 plus times probably through. Like it's
cleared it.
Yeah, like finished it. Like it's just my favorite thing. That's why I got the tattoo of it, because I love that game.
It's a lot of good memories associated with playing the game. Good stuff. Yeah, I've never been a gamer, but like I'm always like blown away by like the advancements in like the gameplay and the graphics and everything. Like, and even like say like I know nothing about Halo, but from the day I saw that Master Chief, I was like, that looks amazing. Just very Colonial Marines type of vibe and something.
I'm big
like
into the gaming stuff, man. Like 3 of these 4 statues behind me are gaming statues.
Oh, right.
So yeah, because Baldur, Kratos, and then Jin Sakai on the other side. And Sauron's the only movie one, but yeah. So I mean, my gaming collectibles probably are among my most favorite, if not my favorite. So
good stuff. That's it's different as well. from the kind of three, kind of the big three IPs, I suppose, which brings us nicely to this.
Okay.
I want to get your thoughts really quickly on this. It kind of ties in with what we're talking about. I'll just pop them up here because you probably know where I'm going with this. I have no idea, or had no idea, what these were until I basically was doing a pre-order preview video for them, and which isn't online yet, but I went and just did a little bit of research and did a bit of a reading and stuff. Can you see that now?
Yeah, I can. All these guys, yeah.
Apparently they're from a movie called I think it's Warriors of Future. What do you think about these? Because I think they actually look cool. Like,
I think they look cool too. It kind of, like you mentioned, like Halo-esque. I think it kind of reminds me of that. It almost reminds me of Fallout. Like, I haven't really played Fallout much, but I've heard, great things about it. And I was going to ask this question last week, but we ran out of time. So I think I'm probably going to ask it tonight, Shane. Like, is this type of figure, is this good? Will it introduce us to new IPs that we don't know about or that we wouldn't explore otherwise? Can Hot Toys be sort of like that gateway to introduce us to things that, that are great, that we could explore? So I think from what I know, this is like a, Asian, Hong Kong film property that they're making because it's very popular over there. So that's great. I think that's cool. I think that's really cool because it's not all about us and, in the Western world. It's not all about Iron Man and Batman and whatever, like Superman. It's about, some other stuff out there that's really popular maybe that we need to be exposed to. So definitely. I have a feeling, honestly, as long as there's a subtitled version that, because I don't speak any other languages, as long as there's a subtitled version, this might be something I explore because I would love to see what this is all about if there's that much hype surrounding it. But I think they look cool, man. I don't know about you. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think the two of them, like, you take something like I mentioned already, the Halo, Colonial Marines, Edge of Tomorrow kind of reminds me of that as well. I just love the design of them, but I'm definitely going to watch. I watched the trailer and it looks very CGI heavy and, kind of your typical science fiction movie, but it doesn't look bad. Like, I definitely, like you said, if there's a subtitled version, I'll be all over that. I'll definitely check it out. And if I like the movie, maybe. But I'm kind of hoping I don't, because it's going to be another like 700 quid, maybe, you know what I mean? But just going to address some of these chats here before we continue on to the present. So this is Alan, 6 Scale Gallery. Fantastic, very, very highly skilled and talented photographer. And he has a page on Instagram called 6 Scale Gallery. If you haven't checked him out, please go over there, check out his stuff. You will follow him when you see how good his portraits of these 6 Scale figures are. And hi, Alan, because he's a friend of mine. Chuli, I have also seen. I also haven't seen both Thor and Miss Marvel either. Yeah. Alan, I think Endgame really did feel like a crescendo for the MCU as a whole. It felt so final. Maybe a lot of people have dropped it. I agree with him. Yeah, I think maybe they're in a shoulder season at the moment. Maybe they're setting stuff up because pre-Endgame, not all those movies were good movies. Like, there was definitely some duds in there, but maybe they're laying foundation for some big payoff. I hope so, because they're just fun movies. Didn't care for Loki, and how can you say that with Will on the street and haven't watched the Marvel show since? Just too much. I think some people are getting exhausted with the Marvel thing. I still have faith. Maybe it'll take a while, but Vader smashed the like button. Yeah. What did you think of Kenobi? Actually, I don't think I ever spoke to you about Kenobi. Like, did you like it, or did you?
Overall, with the show, Shane, I would say I was a little disappointed. I think there were a lot of things I was expecting them to go into, but they didn't. The finale I loved. I really liked the finale. Yeah. I felt like that's what the show needed to focus on. The show, I think what people wanted and where the show would have been more impactful is if they focus almost exclusively on the Vader-Anakin dynamic. The Vader Obi-Wan dynamic and Anakin. Yeah. That was, I think, like the flashbacks, even though they should have de-aged him, let's be real. They should have spent a little extra money and de-aged him because it just didn't look right. And, he looked older for sure. But the final scene with the broken mask and, spoilers, but the broken mask and like the showdown, that was that was the price of admission, right? That was what we all wanted to see. It took too long to get there, honestly. Maybe the show needed more episodes. The whole Leia thing I felt was a waste of time. Like, I just felt like there's a lot of chase. Leia gets captured. We're rescuing Leia. Leia gets captured. We're rescuing Leia. Like, that's like the plot of every
She's a hard kid to catch.
Yes, clearly. Like, the choreography with some of that was less than ideal. Let's say that. The guy running into branches, like it was really just not well done. By Hollywood standards nowadays. So for me, I would say I was overall disappointed with the show, but I did love the ending. So, and I'm getting that Vader, the Obi-Wan. I do want it if they fix the head sculpt. So I'm going to wait and see. I think they will.
I think they will.
I think they will too, because it's very Jeff Bridges, William Macy right now.
That's
Vader,
it. Like I can't unsee the Mystery Men. William Macy is Mystery Men, isn't he?
I believe he was in the movie. Yeah. But it's I don't know, man. And also there was Obi-Wan had a white outfit in the show too. So I'm waiting to see if they release that one, because I like that one the best. So that was my favorite.
The one in the end? The
one in the end. Yep, exactly. Yeah. So I would think they would make that too, but same head sculpt probably. But I don't know. It's the Vader is everyone's getting the Vader. Everyone's getting that. Absolutely. I'm not pre-ordering it, but I'm gonna get it.
It's fantastic. It's I still think Mando is king in terms of the Star Wars TV shows, the non-animated. And then I'd have Kenobi underneath that, and then Boba. Would you put Kenobi in front of Boba, or would you say the same level? Or
see, that's a good question, bro, because I feel like they're very similar levels. I feel like they're very much like disappointing, but not entirely terrible. Like they're. Right. I also didn't like Reva very much, to be honest. She was very polarizing. I could not connect with her. I didn't like the performance. I didn't like the character. Maybe they'll do better with her show if she has an individual show, which has been rumored. But I would. See, the Kenobi last episode is so good. I'd probably say Boba is a slightly better show overall.
Really? Wow. Yeah, didn't see that coming.
Because I love Cad Bane. Cad Bane was incredible. I loved Cad Bane. I want that figure really bad. Again, not going to pre-order, but I am going to get that. And cannot wait for that one. But Boba, still not a great show. I feel like I was very disappointed with it. But Obi-Wan, every episode, I was like, there were some episodes where I was like, this is just bad. Like this is just not good Star Wars or media entertainment. But Boba, every episode I was like, so there were some bad ones, but I was like, I don't know. And then some were pretty good, right? It was like more mediocre than bad. Obi-Wan had an amazing finale, but a very like couple like not great episodes. And Book of Boba Fett was like almost like had a couple really good ones and was like steady mediocre, I felt like.
Yeah, I think I'm at the other end of the spectrum with the I would rate Kenobi ahead of Boba, but episode 5 and 6 of Boba, it's so weird because they're two of the best pieces of Star Wars media I've ever seen, but they're sandwiched in this very strange show. Like, it was like everyone said this already, it's Mando 2.5 whatever. Right. But with Kenobi, look, going into it, I was like, all I want is the two boys to have a duel uninterrupted on their own with some stunning scenery in the background, and I want Vader to get a slap of a lightsaber across the face, so you get to see it. So it was like, when that happened, I was like, I'm fine. You know what I mean?
It was payoff.
And it was, but I get what you're saying. There were a few dud episodes or parts.
Boba almost felt like it. I think they both suffer from the same problem. They almost felt like they had no direction. Like it was like it was just aimless. It was meandering. And Boba, the biggest slight against Boba is that the best episodes were Mando episodes, basically. The best episodes were ones where Mando was the star. True. Like it was like damn, this doesn't bode well.
Yeah. It's. I agree with you there. Mando kind of stole Boba's thunder. So the Secret Wars, if done right, could be huge. Maybe not Endgame huge, but could draw people back in. I think X-Men would draw people back in. Chewie running into the branch thing was absolutely ridiculous. Obi will be sorted, I'm sure. I think the head sculpt will be sorted. Oliver Pilgrim, the Mando episodes in Boba saved the show. Yeah, I would agree there as well. The Book of Boba Fett was sinking before Mando came in. I think so, yeah. I don't think it was enough to save the entire series, but it's just really strange the way some of the best Star Wars content is just sandwiched into a show, which really was not that good. If you haven't yet watched the 2-hour edit of Kenobi, interesting.
I've heard about that. I heard it really condenses a lot of the Leia stuff and makes it a little more tight. And I've heard it's really good if you watch that. Yeah,
interesting. Steady mediocrity. Laugh out loud. Love that, Will.
Thanks, man.
Good stuff. I think the Boba nice. I think they made Boba too nice. Yeah, it's true.
I think so
It was
too.
kinda,
He's like
yeah,
too
yeah.
heroic. Like Mando's not even that
yeah.
heroic, I feel like.
Yeah. Like if you look at one of the best TV shows ever out there, I'm not sure how you feel about it, but The Sopranos. Have you watched Sopranos?
Yeah, it's great.
Like Tony, everyone loved Tony, but he was a gangster at the end of the day and he was doing some terrible things. Like, but
Right.
it made for good TV. And if they'd given us the Boba who carried through from the season finale, maybe that would have been possibly more interesting.
I said that too, Shane. I thought the same thing. I was like, I thought that they should have, like, I guess my thing was like, oh, well, it's Disney and they're trying to appeal to kids too. Like, I almost felt like they should have taken a more, like, and it sounds like Tamora Morrison agrees, like, taking a more, like, adult approach with it, where they were like, I always met, Sopranos is a really good example, like, with Crime Lord. I was going to say, like, make Boba, like, kind of Walter White-ish. Like, where he's, like, sort of doing a lot of bad things, and he does some things where you're like, okay, cool, that was just fine. But he does some things where you're like, huh, did he go overboard there? And, like, that's, you know. But in the show, he's just, like, so noble. Like, he's, like, so heroic, and he's basically, like, Luke Skywalker or something. Like, he's running a crime organization. He's like, well, I want to do the right thing, and loyalty, and this and that. And it's just not, we knew very little about Boba back in the day, but it's just not, I guess, what we pictured him to be like. Like, we pictured him to be like more cutthroat, and that's kind of what I wanted to see. Like, more like Cad Bane, to be honest. Like, that's
exactly. And it's interesting you mentioned Walter White, because I'm a big Breaking Bad fan too. But
Same.
when a character isn't like 100% good or 100% bad, when they're like evil, but then they do some kind things to show that that show empathy or something for another character, it makes it a more interesting watch, because they're not just a one-dimensional character. It makes you think more. You're like, I hate them, and then they do something really kind, and you're like, oh, maybe not so bad, and then they go right back and do something terrible. It plays with your emotions when you're watching it. I do think, you're right. They should have made Boba a bit more like that. So we're going to go on to the present. So you've outlined like how it started. So it's like this whole show was basically I got the idea from that silly meme, how it started, how it's going. Like, I'm not even gonna that's exactly what it came about. So like you've outlined how it started. So in terms of how it's going, do you know how many like 6-scale figures you have? Give us the lie of the land, like roughly, like, are you collecting any quarter scales? Do you collect any third parties? I don't think you collect third parties, if I'm right on that, but you just where are you at now with your collecting? Like, how are you displaying? Just go for it.
Yeah, I got a Excel spreadsheet. I'm just looking at it now, of like everything in my collection that I've cataloged and just kind of marked everything, and sort of what I think the market value of it is, and where I bought it, how much I paid, things like that. If I'm looking at sort of 6-scale only, I do probably have, like, I have one cabinet full of Hot Toys now. It probably holds about 40 Hot Toys. That's between Star Wars and Marvel. And then I have a handful of 1/6 figures and some D-tops. So I probably have about 50, 60 figures total of 1/6. I do have some third party. They tend to be video games. I go for video game third party because those don't get made in 1/6 in licensed capacity. So like, I have the Lim Toys Arthur Morgan. I have the CC Toys Joel and Ellie from The Last of Us. I love the Game Toys Final Fantasy figures, Final Fantasy 7. I have those. I love those. Those are incredible. Pennywise, stuff like that, Hot Toys, even though I'm getting NR. But so about that, I have about statues. I don't have that many because you have to be very selective about them. I have like 2 third scale statues. It's Bane and Joaquin Joker. That's it from Prime 1. I mostly have quarter scale nowadays, and I have the 6-scale Drogon from Game of Thrones. That's about it. So, I mean, I probably have like 10 to 15 statues in total. Like, I really don't have that many. And of course, Pennywise half scale. And then I have art prints. Art prints are, I really have gotten into, I know you have some, Shane, I can see up there. Like, I really love art prints. They've really expanded. They really make your collection look classy,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
You frame them up.
Yeah.
They really just add class to your display. So that,
and
for
it's
me,
something
is
a bit different thing as well. Like, it's it's actually interesting. I think you'll appreciate this side story. When I turned, I'm dating myself now, but when I turned 30, 9 years ago, my friend, a really good mate of mine, we both went to see The Dark Knight back in 2008, and he got me, it was one of the movie posters that was released to promote the film. It's like a double-sided glossy one. The way any movie comes out, they just have these promotional glossy posters, and it's quite big. And I think he thinks that I have just like thrown it out or lost it, but I just kept it. I had it rolled up and I kept it. I was like, when I have my own place, I'll get that framed. And I literally brought it to the framers 2 days ago. So it's just the Joker, and it's why so serious, and it's getting framed with a nice kind of a black frame. So I'm going to put it just here, and on the next collection tour, I'll definitely outline it. But I'm really looking forward to it. I know you're a big Joker and a Dark Knight fan, so just said I'd pop that in there. But you're absolutely right. I do like the prints. So you've got like some statues. You've got you've got some, obviously a lot of hot toys, and you have a range. You've a kind of you've details, and you have a cabinet. Is it just a particular type of cabinet, or is it like a one-off, or is it what type of cabinet is it?
Yeah, I have 4 of them. They came from actually an old antique store. They're pretty big. I think they're like 50, 60 inches tall, something like that, maybe higher. I don't know. They're pretty, maybe even higher. I can't remember the measurement. I think it might even be like 90 actually. I think it's 50 wide. They're pretty big, right? They can hold they can hold as many shelves as you want, but for Hot Toys, it's about 4 shelves. Probably hold about 40 figures in total. My dad actually got them from an antique store that was closing, and he bought them all. And they're big, heavy. They're probably each weigh a couple 300 pounds a piece. So they're big. So moving them when I had to move was very expensive and not fun. So I had to do that. And it's definitely a thing, but they work great. They have glass doors on them. So that's the trick. Look for an antique store that's closing and then buy them from them, because otherwise I think they were probably just going to destroy them, to be honest. And they're great. So they're made of wood. They have glass doors, wood shelves, and and they have glass shelves too if you want. But I have a couple statues in them too, and those have wood shelves because they need to be able to hold the weight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glass shells would probably shatter if you put a heavy statue on it, but you put Hot Toys on it, no problem. I wouldn't put a Hulkbuster on it, but but all the other ones, you could. Yeah, so that's what I do. And a couple detofs. I lost one detof in the move, unfortunately. It broke during the move. I probably could have reassembled it, but I tossed it because I was like, I don't know if I can do it. So. And then I realized you cannot find them anymore, and they're now $100. I bought them for $60 at the time. I was like, I probably should have tried to reassemble that, but it's
did it break?
Not the glass, but like the parts were all coming apart. Like the doors came falling off, and like everything, the top came off, and everything. Yeah. So I probably could have. The glass did not break, but I probably could have reassembled it. But I was like, I was moving so much stuff, and I was like, I don't want to do this. So
it's in the middle. It's a stressful thing moving in and out of a house, like, well, it's like packing everything up and then moving and then getting everything unboxed. It's you probably didn't need that hassle, like. So we have a friend of yours in the chat, and a friend of mine, friend of the channel. So Joao says, I'm a bit late, but we'll watch from the beginning. There's no way I'll miss the Full Vision show with the hottest guy in the community, and he loves Olive Garden. That's too much to handle. Cheers. Thank you, Joao, for your comment.
I'll take that as a compliment, Joao. But Joao's the hottest guy. He's the legend, bro. Come on. No one can live up.
And his dry sense of humor just resonates with
I know. I fucking love it, dude. Like, his dry sense of humor, like, it's just beautiful.
Yeah. Y'all need to get the Bandai SHF Star Wars Vision set. And Car looks sweet. I'm not sure about the.
I've not seen the show. Have you?
Yeah. Oh no, I haven't. No.
Yeah.
So Chuli says, for a lot of folks, they ruined the Boba character. I can compartmentalize. I can definitely compartmentalize. Like the that Boba Roba 2 pack. Like every time I look at that, I just think of that scene from Mandalorian where he comes back and just annihilates a battalion of stormtroopers. Right. But that being said, I wouldn't be in a rush to buy Boba from the Book of Boba Fett show. But the Cad Bane, I'm with you on that, Will. The Cad Bane will be coming home.
Yep.
Jamie, go on, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was reading the comment out loud. I had to jump on that one because I love Game of Thrones.
Oh, right. And that's another one that kind of, it ended strange as well. Like, and I'm a fan, but at the end it was kind of a bit. How did you felt they tied it up well, or were you like, no, they could have done better?
Hated it. Yeah. I think pretty much it's unanimously. There's like maybe 10 to 20% of people that liked it, but I did not like it. Yeah,
I'm the same. It's like it's kind of a bit rushed, I think, considering how amazing the seasons leading up to that were. So third party for the win.
Yeah.
Some good third parties out there. I don't tend to collect them, but I have 2 and I really like them. I'm getting charged for Arthur Morgan Batch 2. Arthur Morgan, is that the main character from The Last of Us, Will?
He's from Red Dead Redemption 2. Joel will be Last of Us, but Red Dead Redemption 2, it's like a cowboy western type game. So yes, to answer the question, totally worth it. He's a great figure.
Good stuff. Question for us. Pardon. Do any of you guys have those HD aluminium art prints that Sideshow does? Are they kind of like Displate? Are they Sideshow versions of Displate or something?
I don't know. I've had a Displate and I liked it, but then it fell off the wall. So then I didn't like it anymore.
Yeah, I gotcha. That's good to know as well.
Yeah, I don't have any of those though.
Yeah, I don't have any either. To answer your question, Chuli from Texas. It's Will. What's up, guys? So Collector Joey. I subscribed to Collector Joey there a while back, and I've watched some of his videos. He's very easy to listen to. Seems like a nice guy. So check him out if you haven't done so. I'm late to the party, but jumping in and catching up. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. 60 to 100 is a significant jump. What was that in reference to?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to think of when I saw that comment. Sure. Tilla, you have to let us know on that one.
Yeah, maybe clarify that. Just actually, you reminded me, I had Chris Leddy from the 6 Scale Scavengers on the other day. And he at one point had 102 Hot Toys and downsized to 20.
Wow, that's crazy.
Which I thought was a major downsize. But it's kind of, I think you reminded me because you had the pre-orders and you were like, no, this I have to cancel these. So I think maybe a lot of collectors will get into some sort of similar situation and realize, okay, I need to focus on pick a lane or pick an IP or a branch of an IP or work out how they're buying things or whatever. So Chewy, yeah, absolutely. Sorry. Yeah, I did not. I didn't. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. You are 100% right. I don't think you can even blame inflation for that. Like, it's like, 60 to 100, like, another $40 on that. Like, that's crazy. What was that? Like a 66.6% increase or something?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
That's not inflation. That's just, I think, maybe a bit of offsetting, bit of greed going on there on IKEA's point.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely. Okay.
Present time.
Yeah. You were unfazed anyway. You're unfazed.
Yeah, I'm unfazed.
This is, I'm not sure if this applies to you, but this would probably be a good question to ask. So, like, in the last few weeks, have you picked up any 1/6 scale figures or sold off any? You don't tend to sell too much, do you?
Well, I actually did. Like, I sold a lot over the past, preparing for the move, essentially. Like, I sold a lot, and also just to downsize, to get rid of some stuff that I really don't need. Like, I had it, and I was like, do I love this? I like it a lot, but do I love it? So I did sell a lot of stuff. I did get the Mark V in. The Mark V in, I really love that. That's a really great figure. So that came in somewhat recently. Other than that, I had Jin Sakai, the Prime 1 statue behind me, show up maybe a couple weeks ago. That's really great. It's just a grail to me. I love the statue, everything about it. I keep doing the swap outs, changing it all the time. So I have that. As far as figures go, though, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of like, I got the Sideshow Toothless statue in too. I really like that. I bought the Cloud from Final Fantasy VII from Game Toys. But that came in like maybe like a month ago or something like that. But the Mark V is my most recent hot toy arrival. A great figure. I almost sold it to Carlos because the Mark III got announced. I was like, do I want the Mark III? But it's funny, Shane. Now, I was like always a pretty casual Iron Man fan. I liked him a lot when he was around. But now that he's gone, I'm like appreciating him a lot more. And I'm kind of on an Iron Man kick a little bit. And like I've got the Mark V and I'm going to get the Mark III eventually too, the new one. And I have the Mark 85 battle damage and the Mark 7. And those are my favorites. And dude, the Mark V is really, really good. The head sculpt, I haven't used it, but it's kind of a little bit dated looking. But even the reissue, but the armor itself is the Mark V is great.
It's a lean looking suit, and you know what I love about it? It's like that suit to me. It's my favorite suit up out of all the suit ups. And what I love about it, it's one of the things I love about the MCU, the way they don't do direct comic book lifts. They kind of pick and choose. This will work, this won't work. So obviously in the comic books, he walks around with this suitcase with the armor in it, which is really funny when you think about it. But it's still a nice way to, okay, that's not going to work, but we're going to have this suitcase shaped suit and it's going to wrap around him. I just thought that was just a lovely touch. A nod to the comic, but I haven't picked it up, but it is beautiful. But this is the thing, I think Will calls you a wild card, and he calls me a wild card as well, because he doesn't really know what we're thinking. I think we're kind of grounded in collecting. We don't get swept up in the hype, and I pass on a lot of things I like to collect the things I love. That's kind of like, so like the Mark 7 is amazing, the Mark 5 is amazing, the Mark 1 looks great, but like I can't have everything, you know. But so I probably won't get the Mark 5, but I do really like it. It's unique looking. Where do you stand on the new Mark 3?
Dude, I love it. I think it looks great. I love the Mark 3. It's one of my favorite suits. The Mark 7 is ultimately my favorite suit because of like what we talked about, the Avengers 1 impact on my life and just my geekdom, right? So the Mark 7 was for sure a big suit for me. That was like a really important one just in my, you know, I have a lot of nostalgia for it. And I love how it looks, to be honest. I think it's an amazing suit. But I just love the Mark 7. The Mark 5 is right up there though. It's top 3 or 4. The Mark 3 is probably my second favorite, just because that to me is that's the first Iron Man suit to me. That's the first Iron Man suit, because the Mark 1, I don't really care about the Mark 1. I highly doubt I'm going to get the Mark 1 unless it's heavily discounted or something, but I just don't really care about it. To me, it's just kind of like a cave scrap of metal suit, right? That's what it's meant to be. The Mark 2 is just all silver Iron Man suit. The Mark 3 is the full color scheme with the first Iron Man suit. And that scene in the desert where he goes and, knocks all the terrorists around, that is incredible. One of the best scenes in Marvel, I think.
I 100% agree with you. Yeah.
And that's why that suit. And it's funny, I always wanted Shane, the Mark III, but the one they made previously, I was like, it just doesn't look good. Like the figure, like it didn't look... I didn't think it was worthy of, a purchase for what it would cost me. But then when they announced this 2.0 Mark III and it looks incredible, and the base is cool and it just looks great, I'm gonna get that Mark III. Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, because that other one you're referring to, like it had that swap out torso where one was a straight torso, one was twisty. It was like, no, I'm not looking. Like right behind my computer is my only quarter scale, and it is the Mark III. But I'm still picking up that Mark III, and I think I'm pretty much done with the Iron Man now. But I'm just waiting for like Bob Dylan to clip and gift this when I get another one. He's like, "Oh, you thought you were out? That's funny."
That's what he does.
So I just want to address some of these. There's a question for you there from Good for Health. How do you like that Sauron?
Oh, dude, it's incredible. Good for Health. It's really great. I love putting it up here. I have it on a 36-inch cube I got. Funny enough, it's from a Macy's that closed down nearby in my local mall, and they had a bunch of cubes. They had a 30-inch cube. They had Nike logos on them, but they were stickers. You could peel them off. And this one's a 36-inch cube, so he's up high, and I knew he would look good on display. But I love that Sauron. If you can still get your hands on it, it is, I think it was like $13.99. But that's really good for how big it is nowadays. If they made that statue now, it'd probably be like $1,800 or something. Like the prices have gone up, but it's amazing. It's one of my grails. I mean, that's why I put it right there. It's massive, and it just has such a presence.
Yeah, it's nice as well when you're streaming and it behind you, you can see it. It's cool. I'm always like, I love looking at like it's one of the things like when I'm looking at content creators, like I love when there's something in the background as well. Like you can listen to them, you can still kind of go, oh, what did I got? Just like it's a nice way of keeping the audience's attention, I feel. Just gonna have a look at some of these super chats. So Good for Health says the Mark V is an iconic suit up moment. It's a unique armor structure and colorway. Absolutely agree with you. Hence those crazy aftermarket prices for the first one. Yeah, true. The Mark III 2.0 will be my first. That is a great first hot toy. I think that's a fantastic first hot toy. The Mark III. It's pretty iconic suit from an iconic character. My favorite Stark is the Donut Stark. Yeah, I believe like Fabio got like a 1/6 scale custom made donut. I'm pretty sure I heard that. I'm pretty sure it was Fabio. You had it custom made and sent from Russia or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but I heard on a stream. I think it was Fabio. Question for Will: if there's time, I think there's time. Do you have any interest in the announced Prime 1 Witch King?
Yeah, I do. I don't think I'm going to end up getting it just because of space concerns, but I do think it's incredible. I think it would go great next to Sauron, but I just feel like maybe they're too similar. And if I put them next to each other, if I have limited space, I need to be selective with statues. So for me, I'm going to stick with probably just Sauron, but the Witch King, I do have interest in it, but it's ultimately, I don't think it's going to be purchased by me ultimately.
Yeah, I get you. Cool. So we're going to move on a bit now. After this. So this question, these are kind of saved some of the better questions than last. So This right. Let's say so. You're obviously an established YouTuber. You're a content creator. You've been in this game for a long time. You like your channel. Everyone knows you. If you're like a 6K collector, everyone tends to know you in your channel. What like advice would you give to a YouTuber who's literally starting today? Like they're uploading their first video like today, and they're just trying to get the ball rolling. They're really passionate about collecting, and they want to be part of the community and start their own channel. Like, what advice would you give to a brand new 1/6 content creator? Like, what would make you click the subscribe button and hold your attention? Would you have any advice for those like up and coming anyone really, even myself? Like, what type of advice would you give?
Yeah, dude, that's a really good question, Shane. I think the simplest thing for sure is just to start it and do it. Like, I mean, join one of the streams, like just jump in and throw your opinion out there, because I think maybe a lot of like, I felt this in the beginning when I started too. I think all of us in the beginning feel a little bit shy and insecure to even ask, or also to throw our opinions out there like anyone would care, right? But if you do it long enough, people will care what you have to say and they want to engage with you. I think one of the reasons that I've made so many friends in this community is because I got past the fear, I think, of like what people would think about what I have to say. And I think that's something that we all go through as we do this, or even on communities of Facebook, whatever, right? Like we're always like, what are people going to think, this or that, and we all worry about that to a degree. But I think for me, as I go, I worry less about that, because one of the things that I've learned about myself is this is something I would recommend people do too, is authenticity, because it's just a huge thing. I think that's just a big thing for your character. For me, it just that's one of the important things that I've learned about myself, even in the last couple months. The biggest thing to me is being authentic. If I feel like I'm not being authentic, then I'm not happy. And I think when you're starting a channel, if you're trying to be someone else or what you think people want you to be, then like you're not going to be thrilled, and you're probably not going to catch on, because people flock. I think people can sense disingenuously. I think they can sense when you're inauthentic. So I think they will connect with people who give their honest opinions, and respectfully, of course, respectful, honest opinions. But someone who's not trying to be everyone else or just blend in. You want to be your own person. You don't want to try to be eccentric just for the sake of it. But I do think you should try to offer something different, and try to find what makes you, right? And I think that's the biggest thing. Like all these YouTubers in this community, all of us do that. Like with this show, for example, no one's really doing this. This is great. Like this is like unique and special, and like it's your thing, and that's what makes you. And with me, what I do is with those shows, I always and this isn't for everyone, because not some people. There's I feel like a large segment of the community that just want to talk about the figures and they just want to talk about the releases. And I do that some, and I like doing that too. But like there's just, I really like what really gets me excited is the big picture stuff. Like what is Sideshow going to do with time pre-orders, or like how is Hot Toys going to handle this Toys Wonderland thing, or like this. Those are the things I like to talk about, because they make me excited. So if some people don't like that, they can always tune out, or I'll take the feedback. But ultimately, if I'm being authentic, I'm talking about the things that excite me and that I want to talk about. So I think that's the biggest thing for people starting out, like just doing your own thing and seeing what people connect with. And you can evaluate from there. But as long as you're being like you, the real you, that's, I think, the biggest thing. And there's always technical shit too, like camera equipment and lighting, whatever. But I mean, that's like, you could have anything. You could have anything pretty much show up, and you could be fine. But it's just a matter of like doing, I think, the right by you, in other words.
Yeah, that's solid advice. Makes sense as well. Similar, actually, I asked Joao the same question, and he said, like, the honesty is a big thing. Like, just to be like, and like, with anything really, like the collecting community is so big, like, and everyone's so different. We all come from different like backgrounds and cultures and everything. We're not always going to take the exact same viewpoints on it's figure X or whatever. Like, so it's kind of, I suppose, sometimes you have to say your thoughts, even though they might be unpopular. Would that be a fair enough? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've done that. I mean, people know that I don't love The Last Jedi, but I do love Rise of Skywalker and Force Awakens, and I loved Mortal Kombat, which is also kind of polarizing. Like, so be it. I mean, it's just like that's I love those films, and I'm never gonna like hate on anyone who doesn't like them. I mean, that's fine. It's just a matter of like you have to be true even when it's unpopular. Sometimes I do, like I think all of us do. You just have to push through it. You feel a little bit nervous when someone on a panel is about to ask you a question. You're like, I know I'm about to take an unpopular position. Like maybe everyone loves this thing, and I'm like, I didn't love it. I remember too. And now it's funny like how it looks, but when the first episode of Book of Boba came out,
and everyone was like, this is like, everyone was expecting Mando quality, right?
Yeah.
And when I was said basically that the show didn't do anything a first episode should do, wasn't satisfying. I got a lot of shit for that. Like I got a lot of like people really like went at me for that in terms of like what they thought I was doing and what I was saying, and just being controversial. But then as the show went on, people started to see kind of what I was talking about. So that's the thing. What I mean is like just being authentic, and that's why like I respect all the YouTubers that we work with that do that, because all of them do it. And that's why, Carlos and, Optical are really good examples of that, because that's why like, and even Layout, like I keep them close because they do that. Like I value people in my life that always tell me the truth and what they honestly think. Like, if I say it's even not collecting, like if I'm like, hey, like, what do you think about this relationship issue? Or what do you think about this? And they think I'm wrong, they will tell me. Like that's what I love, because I love that transparency and honesty. That's just like the people I think are, same goes with YouTube. Those are the people that I think are really special.
And you need that as well. We all need that kind of one friend who points out those the emperor is wearing no clothes type of statements, like
Yeah, right, exactly.
I just want to catch up with some of these chats there. So SV prototype, I wanted to get this Mark III 2.0, but the screws are a huge turn off, so I'm waiting for them to Mark IV or Mark 6 2.0. Yeah, I think the Mark 6 2.0 is coming, and I did notice that screw in the back of the Mark III. I thought that was a bit of a strange touch, not enough to put me off, but I thought it was strange. Mark 7 for me, have the Midas, which is the Mark 7 doing an Oscar vibe. Yeah, that's what I thought as well when I saw it. Yeah, true.
Yeah, Mark 7's great.
Will, how often do you repose your figures?
That's a good question. Not that frequently, to be honest. Like once I get the figure, I have to get it in a pose that I really like and I'm gonna like long term. Sometimes I'll walk past the display and be like, I don't love that pose. Then I'll rework a little bit. I'm not the biggest fan of posing, which is why I like statues a lot, because I don't have a ton of them, but I have way more Hot Toys. But I like that they're in a pose I love already, and I just have to put the pieces in. Like I don't have to do the work. So I don't pose that often. Maybe every couple of weeks or something like that if it's one figure, but I don't repose the entire collection very often.
Yeah. I kind of like that. If I get into pose I leave it there for a long period of time, and then if I want to change it up, or the repose then, because it's just fun. But like usually it's a set and forget for a while anyway.
Yep.
Julie agrees and says, well said, Will. Reviews with Rich. So
what's up, Rich?
Yeah, Rich is obviously going to be he's on Collector's Lounge, probably about 40 minutes now, on the 1/6 Scale Man's channel. If you haven't checked out Reviews with Rich already, please go to his YouTube channel and just click the subscribe button. It's check out his opinion. You know what you should do if you want a kind of a flavor for him. Go and watch his 6-minute review on Top Gun Maverick. He just hits the nail on the head. It's just really, really good. Thanks for the support, Rich. I do appreciate it. Do you have any other questions here? So this Blitz agrees with you as well. I just had a good friend coincidentally mentioned the same thing today. Very true. Good stuff.
Yeah. Thanks, Blitz.
Excellent stuff. We have Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan says Carlos is unapologetic even when he should be.
See, I feel like I want to get to that point though, like with my own confidence and things like that, where I want to, like if you apologize and you fucked up, yeah, go for it. But I like the honesty and the confidence.
I love posing my Hot Toys, but I'm kind of the same way. Once I find a pose I love, I'm kind of like that as well. But every so often I change it up. Good advice. I put up my first stream days ago. I just need a better mic. Yeah, look, it's you know what, that you basically documented your journey. Now, if you keep making videos and go back to your first one, then you'll see it'll make you feel good how far you've come. I imagine that's a pretty good thing to do. So we've addressed the past and we've addressed the present, and this is the kind of tricky one I find. This was sometimes gonna be a lot of fun to envision the future. So I'm just gonna a few warm-up questions. Do you still see yourself collecting in 5 years' time?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's just a matter of like things change so much, I guess, in 5 years in terms of space, where you're at, like whether you have a family, whatever, right? Like then things, priorities change and, realities change. But yeah, I do. Like my collection, I feel like it's at a good level right now in terms of it's not overwhelming. Like I think I have just the right amount where I'm like, okay, like I can move all this stuff and it's not too crazy. Before I moved, I had a lot and I was like, I started to feel a little overwhelmed. I started to feel like I have too much. Like that's why I sold a lot of it. I sold a lot of stuff and kept only the essentials and really, consolidated and curated everything. So for me, yeah, I do see myself collecting in 5 years. I just think this community is too important to me and I just enjoy it too much. And, and the pieces bring me happiness. So, at the end of the day, like I'm going to be, I think as I go, even more and more selective. Like I think I've learned to become more selective and just really appreciate what I do have already. I feel like maybe I and some others don't do that enough. Like we don't appreciate what we already have. We're always looking at the next thing. We're always looking at the future. Yeah. So I want to do that a little bit better and, be even more selective. But yeah, I do. I think my collection level right now is about where it should be. Yeah. It's about, maybe a couple of pieces I'll add here and there, but it's about, healthy level, I feel like.
Yeah. Good stuff. And so basically you're basically saying you will probably be collecting in 5 years time.
Yeah. I think within everyone's different though. Everyone has a different lifestyle and approach. I like balance in my life, so I felt like my collection was overrunning my life, where I was like putting things in different rooms of the house and like taking up all this space. And I started to get to the point where I was kind of like, okay, like I'm starting to get where it's becoming too much and I feel out of balance. So that's just how I like to live. Like I like to work out and play music and do other things with friends and whatever. Like that's all important to me. So I feel like when I'm striking that balance, I'm feeling like, satisfied.
Yeah, I like that approach because then collecting as a hobby becomes sustainable. You are thinking about the future then, like, because like, again, like, my go-to example would be like I've never bought any figure or ordered any figure from any of the Marvel TV shows because I haven't gone back to watch them. So therefore, I just don't. It wouldn't make sense. But if you take something like the Captain America, the Sam Wilson cap, I think that's a stunning looking piece. Oh, yeah, and I was so close to getting it, but then I was like, if I get that, I've got to get that Bucky. And now that I've seen the Bucky as well, it's like, thank God I passed on that. But yeah, just that kind of sustainability. If I start going down that rabbit hole, then it's like you're collecting things that you just like or think look cool, and not the things that you could like. You love. It just doesn't make sense. But what about 10 years time? I know it's a long time, but like, humor me. Like, do you think in 10 years time you'll still be collecting in some capacity?
I think so. I think my collection might be even smaller then, but it's hard to say. I still love Hot Toys and I feel like they do really great work, and same with InArt. Like I want to keep things manageable. Like I said, I mean, as of now, I would project that the collection is going to stay in about pretty close to where it's at. Like I really don't want to grow it more. Even if I had more space to display things, it starts, like I said, to feel overwhelming. So for me in 10 years, the collection would probably be at this level or less, maybe even less. And maybe I just have 30 Hot Toys and I have maybe 5 to 10 InArts and I have like 10 statues, and that's about it. Yeah. Right. That's about where I'd max out, and I'd sell everything that's a little excessive, right? Or redundant. Yeah. So that's what, I would say, yeah. What about you?
I think my next question to you, but I think I know the answer to it is, in some capacity, would you think you're going to be collecting something in some capacity, maybe not as heavily as you are now, but for the rest of your life? Like I do think in some capacity I will be collecting. I mightn't always have a channel. I mightn't always have all the details behind me, but even if I downsize and go, right, these 10 are never going anywhere, I think in some capacity I'll be collecting until I'm finished and they'll be passed on to, family or whatever. But what do you think? Would you in some capacity be collecting?
Yeah, I think so. Like, and I think, I don't know if this is the same for everyone. Collecting kind of runs in my family a little bit. Like all of the, for some reason, I don't know, the women have it as much, but the men do. Like the men in my family tend to collect things they're passionate about. So all of my family members have something that they collect. So I guess maybe, I don't know if it's like a familial culture type thing of where I got it from, but I do feel like that's, and same with you, Shane. Like I love these movies, man. Like I have a lot of, and the shows, like I have a lot of connection to them. So, and they resonate with me a lot. So the feelings you can get from good storytelling is just, you can't really get that anywhere else. So like The Last of Us or even Avengers 1 or Infinity War or Dark Knight, like those type of films, and even a lot of the Oscar films that I love that they're never going to make Hot Toys of, but I love those and they really connect with you. And speak to you in like a profound way. So I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Solid point.
Oh,
okay. So I think we have 2 questions left. So the second last question is, what's the number 1 figure that Hot Toys have released in the past that you don't have, that you want, that you don't think they're going to reissue? So is there a figure out there, maybe it's the G word, is there a figure out there that you really, really want, but maybe you're not willing to go back and pay all the money or that kind of thing? Or is there just something you haven't got around to finding yet? Or is there a figure that they've done that you don't think they're going to reissue that you would like?
That's a really good question. I tend to go for something that I just don't think they're going to reissue, which is Terminator. I do have the DX13. I had the DX10 at one point. It had some issues like with broken leg pegs and things like that. So I ended up returning it to Carlos. But I have Yondu. Good for Health mentioned that one. DX13, I do have that already.
I know you have that. I'm so
that
jealous.
figure is incredible. I don't know how they could even make that better besides real leather. So that I want to say probably the T1000. The T1000, if they sort of remade that, I would love that. And Philip, I don't think Hot Toys is going to tackle any video game licenses like that, unfortunately. As much as I would love them to, I don't think they think there's a big enough market for it, and maybe there's not. I would get it, but I think that's probably going to be left to the third parties or maybe Mondo again. But I do feel like I would probably go with that. Or honestly, I sold my dark side Anakin at one point. I would love to have a light side Anakin Skywalker or a dark side. I would probably take either at this point. I sold it for like $700 or something ridiculous. And I had to cash in on it. So I'm hoping they reissue it for the new show for Obi-Wan. Maybe they'll reissue dark side or put out a regular Anakin that I can get that. And I would love to have another Anakin, but I'd probably say the T1000, maybe like a remake, like an updated head sculpt. I would be huge on that.
Yeah, definitely. I think the DX13 might be my one. How's your jacket holding up? Is it?
It's all good for now, thank God. Brilliant. But I mean, I don't know if there's any deterioration. I haven't seen any, but I mean, it looks great. So,
excellent.
If so, I know they have you can get replacements or whatever, and you'd have to, I guess, just like weather and dirty it up again. But and if it flakes, it's kind of like, well, it's battle damage anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as big a deal if the figure is battle damage. So like you've basically established you're going to be collecting in some sort of capacity going forward. To the rest of your life, really. You mentioned like you have your room you stream in, your collection room here, and then you have a kind of a gaming room as well. Like, what would be your ideal setup? Like, is what you have now your ideal setup in terms of display, or like, would you have like, I know I spoke to Chris Leddy and he was like, he saw Brian Fontaine's kind of man cave with his like video room, and he had all his figures displayed like that, and then it kind of inspired him. And then like other people like are just like, they know that modu cases are the end game. I get asked that as well a lot, like, would I go modu case? But like, what would your like ideal setup be? Or are you like, do you have the ideal now, or is there anything you're thinking about, I'd like to add this or do this in the future?
Yeah, I don't have the ideal now. I have things separated a little bit just because of the space that I'm working with. But I think at some point, if I have like one room that's kind of like an entertainment / collecting room where you had like a TV in there, and you had like surround sound speakers, and you had the cabinets, and you had, shelves, I think, that hold these statues that I could put up on the wall or something. I have tables right now, so I'm using that. But for me, if I could have everything consolidated in one space, modu case would be great. They're just very expensive. So if I had my ideal setup, I probably would have modu cases, but I would hate building them because I don't like building things, and I've heard it's not a fun build. So it's that's my only hesitation with getting any modu cases, and also the money involved. But for me, that would probably be my dream setup, to have something modu case with the cabinets I do have, combine them, put the statues and Hot Toys all together in one sort of cohesive display room with entertainment where you could watch movies and just feel like it's like a man cave. That would be the ideal setup.
That sounds good. I know are you a Clone Wars fan?
No, I haven't really watched. I only watched like maybe half of the first season. I didn't really like it that much, so I haven't gotten back into it.
Yeah, I'm working my way through it, but I'm very, very slow. So I don't collect any of the Clone Wars stuff. So that's the answer to that. And do you collect any? Do you have the Stap or?
No, I don't. Yeah, I do want an Anakin, but I don't want that one because I have no connection to it. I want either the light side Anakin or the dark side Anakin, or a reissue would be fine. I would take you that.
Yeah, I get you. I'd love a Rogue One and original trilogy reissue. Many people wouldn't, but I'm not answering for them. That's fair enough.
Yeah, there you go.
This is it. This is the man who speaks his mind. Okay. The final question. So this has been coined. What are your 3 fire figures? So let's say your house is on fire. Touch wood, this never happens to anyone in the chat or Will or anyone, and you can grab 3 1/6 scales safely. And obviously, if this ever happens, people, we know, just head for the door. Nothing's worth it. But just humor me. What are your 3 fire figures?
Okay, so if I had to pick 1/6 scale only, the DX13 would be one of them. The DX13 would definitely be one of them. If I had the Endgame Loki figure in hand, I'd probably pick that. The Pennywise, I'm going to pass on for now just because the in art is coming. So if I didn't have the in art, I would grab that. I would grab the Hot Toys version. The Hot Toys version, I still have one of them and I love it. It's great. But the in art one, I do feel like is going to be superior. So I would grab that if I had it. But in terms of what I do have, DX13 would be one. I would probably grab, honestly, the Game Toys Sephiroth figure. I just love it. The wing is kind of not holding as well right now, though, which it's kind of disappointing because the metal bracket. But I still love that figure. If I were to grab another one, it'd probably have to be a Hot Toys something. What do I have like on my top shelf right now? Like I have, the third one is tough. As much as I love Yondu, I don't think it would be Yondu. I don't think I would go for like the pure Grail status just for the Grail of it. Probably Battle Damage Mark 85.
That's like, a lovely piece.
That figure, dude. Yeah. It's a work of art. I mean, it's just incredible. I love the Battle Damage Mark 85. It's the most iconic Iron Man you can get. I would probably grab that one. It's right in the center of my display right now. I love it.
Good stuff. Yeah, I have it literally on a floating shelf right above my ring light there. It's
nice.
Yeah, it's a nice.
Dude, it's going to be a Grail one. I mean, they might make 8 million of them, so maybe not. It's beautiful.
Yeah. They will, but it's just they probably won't. Maybe they don't reissue it or whatever. It could be. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time and actually doing this. Greatly appreciate it. And just really, really nice having you here. And very nice to the 48 people in the chat. Thanks very much. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button if you'd like the conversation and the content, and if you haven't subscribed yet, maybe consider it. Will, what's coming up in your channel?
Dude, so Collectors Mingle will be on at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. I still got to come up with the topics and get the full. Carlos and Leia will be there. I'm not sure who else is going to be there, but we're going to figure it out. And the topics will be decided. Like I said, I do have the one topic about the figures, the Hot Toys recently announced that I'm blanking on the names of, but like Johnson or whatever they are from the IP. We don't really
Tyler and Johnson.
Tyler and Johnson, yeah.
I only know that because I just did a video today that I have to finish editing and posting.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that'll be tonight. We do game streams, usually Carlos, Riley, and Optical and I. We do those for members only at this point. So if you ever want to join, it's $1.99 a month. No pressure at all. No one has to do anything. So if you want to join game streams, I've been doing them. I did the last one on Twitch. So I've been trying to do that more. Twitch has better quality, I feel like. So for gaming. So, and then Lights Camera Collect next Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. That's pretty much it. And all I can say, Shane, is thanks so much, dude, for having me. It was a blast to be here. And, I just appreciate you, all the kind words and you having me here today.
No, thanks very much. I call it like I see it, man. And no, I really do. I do appreciate you joining. And again, I always every time I hear now Super Bowl Sundays coming up every year, I'll be like, oh, I remember there, I got the shout out there, and it just kind of it put things in motion, and I do appreciate that. And I kind of remember who helped me get my start. So thank you. Really quickly, I'm just going to buzz through a few things going on the channel. So make sure I get this. Should I do this right? Where do we have it? Really quickly. So obviously, like I hit 1,000 subs and I'm monetized now, and thanks very much to everyone who. You get the applause. Like, where's that coming from?
It's from my soundboard. I got it right here.
Thanks very much. I made an announcement on August 1st when I did my first stream that all the revenue from the channel via ad revenue or super chat, super likes, super thanks, all that kind of stuff, which obviously no one is, I don't expect anyone to do that, but people have been very, very generous and very, very kind. all that revenue from August 1st to New Year's Eve of this year, I'm going to donate to, there's a children's hospital in Ireland called Temple Street. So all the revenue for that 5 months is going to that cause. So thanks very much to a few people here. I won't read these all out now. I'll wait until the next focus before basically giving these people a shout out, but it's greatly appreciated. So if you haven't subscribed and you like the content, maybe click the subscribe button. And if you don't like the content, then obviously I wouldn't expect you to click the subscribe button. These videos are now live on my channel. So just taking a look at the RoboCop 3 Murphy. These two, spoiler, they're passes, but they're up there. My thoughts are there. I give thoughts and opinions on these incredibly dark images, and obviously the fantastic looking progress pictures for the in-art Joker. And this was just a fun video, just 10 things I love about the MCU and announcements. Oh yeah, this will come up. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Maybe just check it out. It's a short video. You might be interested if you're a 1/6 scale collector. This was actually yesterday. It's live on the channel at the moment. This was today. So you're watching it right now. And if not, maybe, maybe you might catch it on the rewind as well. This is the other 6 scale scavenger. You know who it is. It's Brian Fontaine next Thursday. And I don't have a thumbnail, but Posing with Peter is going to be on an episode of Visions Friday week. So it's next Friday. I am absolutely over the moon ecstatic because his posing is amazing. He's a really, really nice guy. He just had that new video about the kind of module case setup. I cannot wait for that one as well. So thank you again, Will. Thank you to everyone in the chat for being here. Greatly appreciated. And I think we're going to close it out unless you anything else you'd like to add, Will.
All good, man. Just say thanks and for having me. It's a blast and, great show.
Cool. See you, folks. Thanks very much. See you in the next one. Good luck.